Now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world on HBO pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble! Now, for the thousands.
So, welcome to Chat with Chad tonight. I am your host, Chad Murray, Master Services outside the business box coaching company. Thank you for watching me tonight. So I started with, instead of doing the Rocky theme, I thought I'd give it a shot and do the Michael Buffer. Let's get ready to rumble. Hey, let's have some fun tonight, right? So let's get ready to rumble, service people, service entrepreneurs, as Dan Plata would say, service nerds, or whatever. It's, if you don't know who Dan Plata is, he's over on beer, bookkeeping, and bullshit podcast, which I'm on a radio show every week. It is on Wednesdays, I believe, at 3:00. You can go to their radio channel online and listen to it. It's pretty cool. And we sit there and he has topics kind of like Chat with Chad. And he's got usually more guests than I do. But I did post and let me know in the comments. And I'll have to start watching to see the comments. This StreamYard's not perfect with the comments. I'll have to see about if you want to get on the show. There is a link somewhere in there for you have to go back to the post, I believe. I might be able just to do it like this. If you want to get on the show and you want to chat with Chad, let's just do this. Invite, copy to clipboard. I'm going to come over here to my other Facebook deal, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there again for anybody who wants to come on the show. And here we go. Paste. And come on, baby. So if you want to get on the show, let's talk. I mean, I have a topic today I'm going to have a little fun with tonight about, I'm going to go over here to Service World and put it up on there as well. If you want to come on, I don't have time. I have to do it another time. So anyway, tonight's topic is, hey, relax. It's busy season. It's buying time. It's customers buying now. So, I mean, if you're buying and your customers are buying, let's relax. Let's take care of business. Let's get the business working for you and do it. So as I say this and I say to, relax, I don't really mean relax. I mean, it's go time, right? It's go time, baby. And if you're in a different, I coach a lot of other service businesses, not just chimney businesses. But if you're a service business, I mean, if you're winding down, because this is the time of year that Brandy, if you want to come on, click the link. Come on. And she writes, I love the adrenaline in the busy season. Yes, I do. And it's the buying season. Chuck Hall will murder me if I keep calling it the busy season. It's the buying season. And I love it. It is the buying season. And if you're not in the chimney business and you're winding down, well, you need to find what can you do to your business to make it buying season all year. So my title is to relax. So what does relax really mean? What does relax really mean when it comes to I'm busy? Everybody's going 20 different ways. Well, what do we do in the off season and the non-buying season? We're most of us still busy. We're all busy all year round, but what's the difference? Well, now is the time where if you worked your business all year, you should be able, as the owner, if you built it right, to sit back and let it, literally, and smell the roses, literally. And if you can't, well, if you're on a truck still, hey, I'm with you, brother. Sisters, I'm with you. I get it. You're out there, you're working, you're trying to get to the point where you can relax. Well, so it comes to the point of hiring. I had a couple clients in the last couple of days say, I'm turning off my ads because I'm too busy. I'm like, really? You're too busy. Let's talk about too busy. All right. When is the fastest time to train somebody? When you're busy. You know, who can mirror an osmosis the most? You can do that when you got all the appointments that you're doing. They're seeing everything. Everything's flying at you, and it's like, well, this is how you do this. This is, maybe, and in our business, we're so technical and stuff. Yeah, they're probably not going to get in a truck by themselves, this year, but next year, if you're finding the right people and I heard somebody say, I think it was I watched Lindemann's new video where they say they hire for personality. Well, I try to diss people and I try to figure out their personality and try to see whatever it goes from that. But I try to make sure that their habits are what fits the or at least their written habits through DISC will fit their job title. So I don't want to hire someone that for instance, we got a disc back. It was a referral actually from one of our other educators. And it was the guy came back as a CS. And I wrote back to the team, I'm like, CS, the guy's going to be awesome at inspections. He's going to want to help, and he's going to have a 400 SPO, sales per opportunity, meaning the guy can't sell shit, but the guy does the best inspection in the world. So, that's not my type of guy that I want. I want a guy that can do an awesome inspection, wants to keep learning, and can bring home the bacon. And so it's about the bacon. I know a lot of people in this industry get like, oh my God, you can't talk about sales. It's all about the inspections. Well, my God, we live off the sales. And we find our sales through the inspections. And in my case, we also do free estimates. So I didn't plan on going here. I was talking about being relaxed, but I'm going to go there. There are guys out there that, that are adamant. I won't do free inspections. Hey, that's their model. That's okay. What I don't like is when people say that you got to adhere to a certain way. Everybody's different. No, I do free inspections. You're not going to ever talk me into doing it different. Why? Because I'm in Texas. It's hot. I got other people out there that will go behind me and get the job because they'll go out there for free. Even though I do what I want to do. Okay, I'm not going to be stupid and go let someone who calls and say, well, I got 3 other people coming to give me a bid. And I'm not going to go try to get that opportunity myself. No, I'm going to go do it as well. I have a client that I was actually in the middle of a session with him about a month ago. And he tells me that they literally, I got to turn my phone down because I'm hearing myself talk. Tells me that they had turned down an estimate to go out for free for somebody. And it come to find out that it was for 3 chimneys in Tuck Pointy. And he goes, yeah, the guy didn't want to pay for inspections. I said, dude, you just passed up a $30,000 job. Really? You're not going to go out on a $30,000 job for free? And he looked at me and he was like, I guess I never looked at it like that. I said, well, in my world, that's a $30,000 job. I don't know why or how, just however he explained it to me, it's 30 grand. So he kind of smiled at me and said, hey, pick up the phone, call the guy back and reschedule or try to get this guy, tell him he'll come out. So he gives the phone number to another guy that's in the office with him. And the other guy calls the guy back up, schedules it. The next day, sold $25,000 job. So, free can be a lot of money. Now, I'm not talking about functionality. If we have to inspect the chimney functionality, I get it. But I mean, a lot of other businesses, not even in the chimney business, a lot of other businesses, I mean, they have to survive off of free stuff. And maybe some do service calls, some don't. But I got to tell you, we have a fine line. So let me tell you how Masters does it. If it has to do with functionality, performance of the chimney or fireplace, absolutely paid inspection all day long. I don't care what month it is. If it is, our damper's not closing, okay, that's free. We'll come out. Now, Summertime, we'll just come out. We're not going to try to push on inspection. Fall, right now, we'll probably say, okay, and they'll try to push it to an inspection either way. Either way, to me, I don't care about the 325, 350 bucks, because more than likely with our closing ratio, we're going to sell them anyway. And so, I'll forego 300 bucks every once in a while, or even a lot, to do that, because I think that I get more appointments if I go for free. And I do. We get a lot of appointments. And so, I think we have 7 educators on the road right now, all doing 3 appointments a day. And we're booked out for 2 weeks. So, and we're not even busy. We haven't even had a cold front. It was 100 degrees a day. Texas. Yeehaw. And so, anyway, so when it comes to, let's get back to the topic. When it comes to being busy, it's time to be busy. It's time to relax. And what relax means, enjoy it. Enjoy the rush of being the opportunity and everything's flowing what I would assume is fairly correctly, right? Your guys you spent all the year training them and getting them. And even though you've been busy probably through the off season, it's different. Buying season right now is different than if you're busy, in June. It's a different vibe. A lot of in and outs, meaning, a lot of inspections where you weren't doing inspections per se in June and May and all those months. So this is just a different feeling. And so I think when you get your business going and you get to the point of where it's going and running itself to the point of you're not having to do the work, someone's answering the phones for you, and all you're doing is managing the business. This is when I have the most fun of owning a business. I absolutely love going on Kickserve, that's our CRM, and seeing the sales. I love going there today. And seeing what we have up for the first 3 days of the week. The week's not even over, and we've already beat last year's numbers. I love it. I love this time of year because it really shows what your accomplishments are when you get into the buying season. And so that is why I just want you to relax and enjoy the show is what I would proverbially say. And so, yeah, Mike Fazy, he just texted me. I think they're doing a busy what do you call it? Company meeting this day. Otherwise, he would be on here with me. And some of the other, being back, a lot of people don't realize I'm having the show again. And so I got, some of my regulars I need to get back on here and have some fun and blah, blah, blah. But yeah. So what can Chad talk about? It's Chat with Chad, and Chad's alone. What is this, a Seinfeld episode? Chad's alone, and Chad's talking to himself now. No. So let's go off into some subjects. I have some things I could talk about when it comes to running a business that I find is very curious. Our whole CRM team is about to quit. Oops, I shouldn't have read that out loud. Anyway, I'm doing. Let me tell Mike I'm doing Chat with Chad, and I'm reading it out loud. I just read that on Chat with Chad. Okay, well, there's only 4 people watching me right now, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so all right, so let's talk about business. Let's get down to I got some things I want to talk about. So one of the things is about training, and one of the things I like to talk about when it comes to training is a lot of guys are asking me, well, how do I train people? And it's like I did a podcast series on just the power of one. You got to have one guy that can train somebody. So if you just spend your time and really train a guy how to do all the work, then that's your business. Your business is that one guy. That's it. Train that one guy, pay him well, treat him well, love him, cuddle him, do everything you can. And that dude is going to help you run your business and scale your business. And then you go get another guy. And then you get a person in the call center. And then it just keeps going like that. But you have to start with one. And then you have to put that trust into that one. So in the last 2 weeks, I think I said this on last week with Chad. I have two new guys working with me that have been with me for 6 to 8 months, even a year maybe, that are this last week out of the field. It took a year on one of them and it took 9 months on the other. They are not in a truck. And both of them have, I think, 4 trucks. 3 to 5 trucks. I don't remember exactly right now off the top of my head. But yeah, you can be that little and be out of the truck. Because you know what they both did is they found one guy that could do all the work that they did. And then now that guy gets another guy. Now, what you do then, what I suggest is then you go get another guy for him and another guy for you. And you both train these guys and you swap them and you train them how to do all the work. Now you have 3 guys and you go get those guys. And now you have 3 trucks doing the work. Probably eat what you kill at that time. And maybe you do go out and do the sales while you have a call center person at this point. You have a call center person. You've got 3 trucks on the road. You're the 4th. Maybe you sit back at that point, and I haven't done this before like this, but it's a good idea in my eyes, is you do the sales and let those guys do the work, unless you've got a killer guy that wants to sell. Okay, you start doing all the inspections and sales. Keep those guys busy, right? And then go find a killer sales guy that can do inspections. And you train that guy. And then once that guy's trained, you're now completely out of the field. And that's how you do it. Now you're running your business. And one of my clients last night, one of them was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. He said, I can't believe how much work and how much I can control my business from the office versus being out in a truck. It's mind-blowing. And I'm like, I know. It is. So if you're still in your truck and you're trying to get out, well, you have to get the power one, get that done a couple times, and then you just have to take the leap of faith and get out of the truck. It's tough. It's rough. The work is not going to be up to your quality. I had another client today said, I started the guys off and I left and they got done and saw the pictures. And he goes, it wasn't up to my snuff. I go, did you get the check? He goes, yes. I go, then the customer loved it. It's good enough. Don't yell at your guys. Tell them they did a great job. And this is where you could improve and point out what you want done to your standards. And do not come down on them, because guess what? They're doing what they know how to do. You just have to train them up a little better. This is a big masonry job we're talking about. And so I had another client this week that ended up being a he's a new general manager of a guy I already coach. And I was having a private session with him. And we were going to talk about, or he was going to have a big meeting today. This was yesterday. So he's planning a big meeting for everybody today. The owner is gone right now on absent. Nothing bad. Just he'll be back in a few weeks. So anyway, well, he had noticed some things, and he says, okay, so he's been working there now, I think 5 to 6 weeks, and he's taking the reins, and he was going to have a meeting labeled new house rules, and he was going to, not hammer everybody, but have that just everybody tunes out the second you say we got new house rules coming on, right? Nobody fucking wants new house rules. Sorry. But yeah, nobody wants to sit down in a meeting from the new guy who's running the company with all new house rules. So I said, well, hey, this is what we need to do. Let's do this. You know what you want to accomplish. Let's make this about them and make it to where you're coming at them to help them, and make sure all the house rules that you want to do come at them as of word it all different. We're going to help everybody achieve some new things. And we sat there and he rewrote how he's going to talk about it. And he was like, man, so much better. Thank you. And I'm just like, yeah, you got to come at it, when you're going to make some big changes like that. So that's how I do it. I know if you are especially one of my manager at Masters, they're like, this guy's such a fraud. He never fucking did any of this stuff. Yeah, well, I've evolved in 5-10 years since I've been gone from Masters, because that's not how I used to run my business. I would have had it new house rules. Here we go. And blah, blah, blah. You're in my office at the end of the day if you didn't do it. So, yeah, but as you grow, as I have, hey, Chad, nice to see you back at it. Thank you. I can probably see who this is on my phone, but I can't see it on, this is why I can't stand this. Marty, I think. Jack Hamilton, Marty Brandy. Yeah, I can't see who it is. Just say who you are. Facebook user at 720. Thank you for having me back. I'm glad to be back. And it was a fun summer, a rough end to it, but I'm glad to be here. So anyway, okay, it is Marty. Hey, Marty, why don't you hop on? And then there's Bob. Hey, Bob. Both of you can hop on. There's a link. Go on Chimney World. There's a link I posted. Just hop on. I'll let you in and let's chit chat, because quite frankly, I'm sure nobody wants to hear me talk alone. And so, but anyway, and there's Jack. Jack's from Australia, guys. He owns a, I don't know how to say it. He'll probably chime in here in a second, but irrigation company where he actually fertilizes lawns, like big lawns. I'm talking like Australian lawns, and I've been talking to him about coaching now for a while, and yeah. And so anyway, helping the wife with the dinner. I get it. So, okay. So what are we doing with our business, right? So as we're talking about high-end turf and stump and grinding, yes. And so he got a pretty cool couple cool machines. He's texted me the other day. I wake up to a lot of Aussie texts because their time is totally different. So when I wake up, I see all of Jack's messages a couple times a week. It's fun. And then coaching tips and stuff like that. It's always a good time. So anyway, okay, so we're going our business and we're in our buying season. And as we're in the buying season, as I know a lot of people have just jumped on here, it is time to relax, enjoy the show, watch your reap the benefit of what you've done this whole year, and manage your business, but enjoy it and let it flow. And the tips I have for this time of year, I've stated a couple of them already. Number one, don't stop hiring. Best time to hire and train is right now in the buying season, right now. Okay. Keep hiring. Because what could be better? Let's take the philosophy of this. I'm too busy to hire. This is your thoughts if you stopped hiring right now. I'm too busy to hire. I have nowhere to put them. You have excuses or whatever, right? But you legitimately are busy. I get it. But why do you want to hire and train now? Well, what if let's say your company has 6 people. Let's just say 8 people. Okay. And you've got 2 guys that are mediocre. Well, let's just say in a month from now, you find a carpenter that can lay brick, or just say a carpenter, and just great guy with his hands, could learn everything we do quickly. Right? We hire that guy. And this is buying time, right? You could probably have 20 people working for you now. So you keep them on, things go a little smoother. You have a little extra help. Well, come February and March, as we've slowed down and maybe start going through a little lull, well, if you were going to let anybody go, that you would let go one of these other guys that's mediocre. Or, hopefully you don't have to. I don't like letting people go. It's the last thing in the world I ever want to do. When I hire you, I want to hire you. But if you do have to go through that and you have to let somebody go, well, you're going to let the guy go that's not as qualified as the guy that you just hired, because that guy's going to make you more money. And that's how you keep leapfrogging up the scale of scaling your business, is continually trying to hire better people to put in place of the people that are not doing what you want to do. It's a never ending thing. Really almost being an entrepreneur is almost like literally being a professional hiring person at all times. And so, yeah, Bob just put on here, you recently hired a roofer, a technician, and an electrician to be a gas technician, and he's an electrician. And so, I mean, yeah, I guarantee you that just helped Bob make more money. Totally. And it's, September 21st. I already know a lot of people have taken the hiring signs down. We watch Indeed. I see that a lot of people who are hiring stopped hiring right now. And I just scratch my head. Why? Now, I will say it's a lesson I've only learned in the last 3 years and only perfected it maybe this year. We are as fully staffed as we've ever been September 21st. And so it is a nice feeling to know that we are not going to be hiring for need in November, even. We'll be hiring because we're just hiring all the time. We will be fully staffed in the next probably 2 weeks, if we're not already. So anyway, okay, so that's number one, always hiring. Number two, a lot of things come up with timing of jobs. I know when you start getting into masonry, you're going to have to learn the speed of a job, and so this doesn't matter about masonry. I'm just saying that with us, we had to learn when you have masons what their speed is and is it profitable, and you got to hire correctly. So Cody, my sales manager, I was on the phone with him a couple hours ago, and he said, I think we finally, after a year and a half, have figured out our correct pricing for the speed of our masons. Which, think about that statement, a year and a half. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to say it was a pricey lesson to learn. It wasn't pricey, but I probably could have made a lot more money if we'd figured it out a lot earlier. So hey, but that's just called running a business. And so, but yeah, getting things timed correctly, really, when you think about it, you have to think about a lot of steps outside of the job. And I was talking to another client about this week, and it was, well, what do you do for the staging in the morning? How staged are they? Have you checked? Has anybody checked their materials a day or two before to make sure everything's in on every ticket for the next day? I mean, all this preamble stuff to make sure a job functions well and gets to the job site on time, with everything, with the crew going out. I mean, think about the money that you're lost if I'll just use an example, if the cap didn't come in or the damper's not there, or someone's having to scramble to leave the job to go get something. All of this in the buying season is wasted money out the door. So what do a lot of owners of smaller companies do? They don't do this. So one thing that I always did very well is I staged my guys to make sure that they had everything from the shop they needed. And if they needed something from Home Depot or Lowe's, back when I was smaller, I would make sure that they were scheduled to come in early to go there to do that. And I was adamant about, okay, I didn't go to Home Depot for them. There were some things I did, but they'd have to go to, like if they were doing a hardy board rebuild, they had to go get the hardy board. Back then I did not carry a hardy board. And I don't even know if we even do now at this point, but we carry mortar, we carry most stuff. They may have to go to Home Depot for, some of the wood products that we do to rebuild the chimney, because we didn't have the space to do it. Now that we bought our 5-acre property, I'm going to leave it alone right now, because they've just been through hell this summer, leaving our old place and moving into the new place and getting it all function while we're busy doing over $100,000 in production every week. So blah, 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 and growing now. So it's definitely fun. And I'm not going to pile on them and say, let's go buy a bunch of lumber and blah, 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 blah. So, but if you think about it, there is way more to a job than there is, getting it timed correctly. And you have to make sure that it is done and you have to also look at it like this. I don't think we do it a lot now, but it's probably still an SOP at Masters. But we used to make the guys, if they knew they weren't going to get done, they had to call at 2:00, between 1 and 2:00, tell us they're not going to get done on a day they're supposed to be done. Like if they're not. So then John, the general manager, and Brian, the assistant general manager, can go, all right, they can either send more guys there, approve the overtime to finish it if possible, or okay, call off at 4 and we'll reschedule it for tomorrow somehow and do all that. So, I mean, there's a whole system to making sure you can try to get, hey, shit happens. We all know it. I mean, if you show up to a house, whatever. But one of the things that we do that we do is John will check their GPS if it's a 1-day job and they call in at 2:00 or even 3:00 and say, I'm not getting done, he'll see what time they got there. Did they have any shenanigans before they got to the job or anything that we can see on the truck? And it's funny how that will happen. And when we started calling guys out on stuff like that, it's funny how it stopped. It's like, okay, well, you didn't get the job till 10:30. Yet you clocked in at 7:00 this morning. You didn't go to Home Depot. You did go to Buc-ee's type stuff, and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, what the hell happened? No, you stay your ass out there till 8:00 tonight. If you got to go to Home Depot to buy lights, make it stay out till 9:00, go buy lights. I don't care if they don't already have them on their truck. You do that a few times, the crews show up and get out faster and la, 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 la. And so just an interesting point to take. But that's all part of management, right? What are you doing to make sure the flow of everything is going to work correctly for you? And having flow in a business to make it efficient is really, really a huge accomplishment to do as you're growing your business. Because the sooner you do it, the smaller you are, the better and more efficient you'll be as you grow. And so I do want to call out Tom Osceola. He read Traction for the first time in the last couple of weeks, and he literally spent 5 days overhauling his back end of his business in New Jersey, and he was so excited to talk to me today. It was so fun because he was just, he was higher in life. It was just, he's like, I can't believe I've never done this. I'm doing this. And of course he goes, I know you've told me a lot to do a lot of this stuff, but the book, this, and I'm just like, yeah, isn't it so nice to get your business, start having meetings more, have a structured meeting. You now have your rocks and your goals and your to-dos to get all them done. Everybody's on the same page. We're talking about, that's how you're evolving a business. Faisy talked about it on with Stoner, the level 10 meetings. And I got to tell you, man, my guys did not like L10 meetings at all. Matter of fact, we tried them last year. They hated them. They stopped them. Then they go back and forth on meetings. And then finally, I just, as an absentee owner, essentially, I put my hammer down and I just said, listen, you're having meetings every week. And you're having 2 if you can't get it done in the one. And so blah, blah, blah. And so then I said, you're going to redo the L10 style and you're going to do it. And I'm going to show up for the first few. And I did. And I structured it out to where we had a moderator doing it, which is my daughter who runs the HR department and the advertising. And she's the secretary of the meeting. So nobody sits there in the meeting as a manager with a pen. Now they mate for their own notes. Madeline does it all, takes all their notes, and then puts their to-dos, new rocks, completed rocks, and everything on Monday.com. And they manage through Monday.com all their tasks that they have to get done for next week. And if there's anything new, they can do it themselves. But Madeline does the whole meeting. They don't write anything down unless they do it for themselves. Meaning they're not writing it down to go put on Monday later. And I'll tell you, you want to watch a business start growing and accomplishing things that you couldn't accomplish, meetings are the way to do it. And having a structured meeting to do it is honestly, wow, the fastest way you can literally grow your business, other than knowing that you have to hire and go get yourself in trouble and hire more than you need. And so because you're going to get everybody on the same page. Level 10 meetings, especially when you're small, do not have to be management. It's everybody, because everybody's got a skin in the game. And so, but as you get bigger, you have L10 meetings with the management, and then you carry the L10 meetings down to the crews as well. We have not done that yet. We've just stuck it with the managers. We need to start doing it with the crews and the educators as well. Started putting lemon in my drinks. This diet, I'm kind of fat. You kind of see how fat I've gotten. It says it's really good antioxidant and it helps you lose weight. So I'm drinking lemon in my water. So, okay. Business. Back to the business. Okay. What's one thing that you can do and you can think about it? And go ahead. If you're watching me right now, chime in, type something. I'm going to challenge you right now. What's one thing you can do tomorrow that literally could make you more money this week? I will wait for my responses. I want to get everybody talking and chiming in here. What can you do tomorrow? You can think about right now. What can you do tomorrow that's going to change your business? Because guess what? Whatever you think you can do tomorrow, change your business. You're right here. You might have just helped 25 people help change their business. Automate my qualifying my clients. Okay. Who is that? Who is that? I'm sorry, I can't see. That's Jack. That's Jack in Australia. Okay. Automate my qualifying of clients. Good. You'll make more money by doing that for sure. That's something you can do tomorrow. I got it, Jack. Who else? I can see people on here. I can see you. I can't see who you are, but I can see the numbers on there. And so, who's got an idea? What can you do tomorrow on your business that's going to help you make more money this week? I'll tell you what we did at Masters today. We had to up our goals. We were hitting our goals or not. We were hitting our sales goals, and we were back to hitting our production goals at the beginning of the week. Well, the problem with hitting a number at the beginning of the week is some people cancel, reschedule. Most people, we don't really have a lot of cancellations, but they'll reschedule. We got to a job today, $3,500, half day or more, almost, I think it was a full day job for the crew, actually. And the guy said, I can't do it today. Sorry, at the door. I know, what a blank move by him. And he rescheduled for next week. But it's like, really? So now we just lost a whole day. And, it's one of those things that you really want to just say, up yours and say, I don't need your money and just walk away, but it's $3,500 and we're not going to do that. So we lost $3,500 off of our production. And then we had a couple inspections that turned into not being inspections. So from Monday, we had 95,000 up for production this week. And now we have 86. Well, that doesn't make me money if I had that much up and then I lost that much. And by the way, that's common for us. 10% over is what we need to project to hit the real number I want. Think about what I'm saying. If I want to do 100 grand and I want to hit that number, I can't schedule 100 grand. I got to schedule 110 because on average, 5 to 10,000 gets rescheduled every week for rain, for part didn't come in. I don't know, lots of shit. I don't know. And that's what this is the crazy thing. That only really is a big time we got to do that in half the year. The other half of the year, it seems to work out. But the fall, when we're crazy busy, it just seems to be we have to schedule over to do that. And so that's what we're doing. I had my goals for production, and I have to raise them up 10%. So that if we want to hit 100 production, I got to put 110 because something's going to get rescheduled, and we'll still hit the 100. And then they have to schedule in the call center. See, here's another thing, a little business tip. Have your goals and the financial stuff. Who schedules the jobs? The call center does in my world. The bigger you get, the call center does. Okay? Well, they're just going to find empty spaces. Well, there's a problem with empty space. Empty space doesn't make you money if it's not there. So you have to let the call center, they have to know, and that I do this because I look at the TV that they have up on the wall, and they don't have to look at the schedule. They can go next Tuesday is only got, it's supposed to have 18,000 on it, but it only has 4,000 on it. So I know to go to next Tuesday because we got to put some money on Tuesday. So then they'll start with Tuesday. And if the client can say Tuesday, we'll do it on Tuesday. And then we'll add that money to it. And then that'll be updated twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, I think now. And they get to kind of see as it's going along where they're at on scheduling to hit the numbers. So the numbers aren't just for the sales guys and the crews. The numbers are also for the call center. Because you want to run, when you want to operate a call center correctly, give them numbers to hit. No one thinks about it. They just answer phones. Bullshit. They're the lifeblood of your business. They schedule appointments and they schedule jobs. Well, if you allow them to do it, what are they going to do generally? They're going to do it at the easiest spot they can put it at. The first available full day, they're going to put everything in that day. What about all these little half days, quarter days that some jobs can fit into? Well, call centers nature, they're not natured to find those places unless you train them to do it. And so they have to hit those numbers. And when they are hitting those numbers, they know they're doing their job. I know they're doing their job. And generally, when they're hitting their numbers, we're hitting our numbers over here. So, I mean, you want to talk about the wheel of running a business. There's checks and balances all over if you start growing your business. And my call center, I can check through them. I can tell you what kind of week we're having just by looking at their numbers. How many people can actually say that? I can totally look at Master Services call center numbers and go, oh, shitty week. How many? I mean, so like in the summertime, we have a 20-20 rule. Next year, it's going to be 25-25. I want 25 jobs scheduled a day, new appointments, and I want 25,000 sold every day. That's our off-season numbers. This year was 20-20. Next year is 25-25. I want 25 new jobs scheduled every day, Monday through Friday, and I want 25,000 sold from our guys. And I believe that's going to be low next year. The appointment wise, probably stay at the 25, but I want probably close to 35-40 next year, and that's what we want. We're really trying to hit 8 million next year. So anyway. Yeah, so it's fun when you start running a business in the go time and it's relaxed now time, because even if you can't relax, what's happening? Your business is making money. It's working, right? It's so fun. We can make it happen. Absolutely. And so let's talk about the wheel. So I have this thing that I call wheel of business. And a lot of times when I start working with a new company, we want to work on, I don't have a program. I do have an online course people can read and take and get. I only give it to my clients, and it's got a ton of little YouTube videos I made about different topics. But I should just sell that as a loaner thing. But anyway, I don't. And so anyway, they can watch that. But a lot of times every time I take on a business and I talk to them, I start off with, what's your biggest problem? And then I let them talk, and I have a game with myself. And it's almost funny as I'm listening because I'm intently listening. And I won't say a word. I will let them go. And until we get to that uncomfortable silence, which is generally probably 5 to 7 minutes later, I won't say a word. I will just stare at them. And this is the hardest thing for me to do because I like to talk. I want to solve their problems right now. But you know what? Me solving people's problems is not how I work. I want you to solve your problems. I'm just to guide you to get there and get your problem solved. I will help you and steer you in the right direction. And a lot of times I will consult you and help you and get you through that moment. But okay, I shut up. I listen. And when you get to that uncomfortable silence, and you can do this with your customers, you can do this with your kids, you can do this with your wife, your husband. When you're having a conversation and you're trying to get something to a point, listen and listen hard. Get it to it's so painful. Get it to where they stop talking. This uncomfortable silence right there. The next thing they say is going to be the most powerful thing in the world. That really means it to them, because they just processed all the bullshit out of their head. Okay. And then all of a sudden, that silence they process. And all of a sudden they say something, and a lot of times I'll have one little thing to say, and now we're off to the races. Now it's go time. Because now they're gonna say the difficult thing they either didn't want to say, they did, and now we're off. We are literally getting into this is what we're gonna fix. So we're gonna start working on this thing that they just got to, this the most hardest thing in their business they either can't get. So we start working on that, whatever it is. Okay. And as we're working it around, I deal with call center mindset, systems, process. I mean, systems and process, same thing. But I deal with all this sales, and systems in all different aspects. And the thing about it is, when you're building a business, it's just like Rome. It wasn't built overnight. You have to master whatever you're working on. Otherwise, it's gone in 3 months. So, and this happens a lot, actually. I mean, with anybody, even myself. I mean, you like the review thing. We suck at getting reviews at Masters. I've been in business 25 years, and Dallas only has like 250, 60, 70 reviews. It's ridiculous. Now, we did lose a couple hundred over the years where Google swiped some away for some reason. I should have 3,000 reviews when we don't. I mean, it's just stupid because my guys aren't asking for them. Nobody's calling up in the callback asking for it. Well, that's my fault. So I made a new system to do that, to where it's a line item. Now I have the links to each city's review page, and it's actually a line item that I have the call center. When the job's approved, they put that line item. It's on the bottom now, and they have a review for when they take the check. Later, when the job's done, that's there, and the guys are trained now to ask about the review. And if they don't ask, it's still there for them to click on. That just started yesterday. So hopefully that will work to get more reviews. Okay, so we worked on our reviews. So now we start talking about different things that we're going to do, that, there, that all of a sudden we're going to talk about sales. We start working on their sales. We start talking about how to word sales and do this and do that. And it's funny. It's like all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like what you train in the call center. Aha. Now we're talking company language. We want to build the company language. So if you notice what we built in the call center, now we're starting to use some of that language over here in the sales. Now, when you have a customer talking to you, they're going to identify that you guys sound a lot alike. Everybody knows what they're talking about. It's such a big sales process and a company process. One of the biggest things that happens when I start coaching a lot of medium-sized businesses is you get the technician in the field gets yelled at that the call center said this. Well, because at the time they don't have scripting and they don't have a company language, what do? They get defensive, right? It's like, I'm sorry she said that. They're not even taught what to say. They just believe the customer, typically. So what do? You train on that, right? You train that. Well, ma'am, we actually train our guys, and actually I need to go back to this a little bit and be in our training. It is Stonely, Jack, Stonly. So anyway, the training of this is you got to tell the people that you got to remind them that our company doesn't, like, let's say we come out there and they say, oh, you said it was going to be $200 to inspect it, not 300. Well, ma'am, we charge 300. We know that we are scripting, and you go through this process of, you might have called other people, but it's 300. Recorder says this was also emailed to you. This was emailed to you, and it says 300 on the email. And then they're like, oh, okay. So a lot of times they don't have to call up and bitch. We train the guys, or at least we used to. We need to get back to it possibly. But that is part of everything, part of the company language, right? So anyway, a lot of this, really, all this is now going into effect in your buying season, the busy season. And right now, if it's all flowing and going, and you start seeing the fruits of your labor, it is amazing how you can sit back when you get into my position. I've been off the road since 2009, so I literally haven't. Now I came back a few times. We actually fired, our entire sales team back in 2018, and I had to come back out of retirement and literally for Dallas had to inspect from April till June. And at first, I've told the story before. It's blah blah blah, but a lot of people who might be listening, no, I literally took on the work of 4 guys in Dallas and did their work, doing inspections at the time. Um, uh, excuse me, mainly free estimates at the time. We weren't. It was April and May. Not a lot of camera inspections going on back then. So I was like just doing crazy. And the really funny thing was, so I had 4 guys. 2 of them were good. 2 of them were average. I went out there and I sold more money than all 4 of them did in a row. Every week. A couple weeks I doubled their business, doubled what they would sell typically. So put a guy in my truck, trained him. Got another guy in the truck, trained him. This is back before I gave a shit about anyone being certified like I do now, and totally different person I was back then. Even this is just 4 years ago, right? And so it's funny how you can flip and learn and grow just in 4 years. I mean, but yeah, so that's just part of the business. So anyway, what is going on right now with everybody in their business when it comes to getting in their own way? And the way what I say this is, I see this a lot, and I can get in my own way at times, is the one thing I'm going to end this chat with Chad tonight is mindset. I absolutely have fallen in love and been very successful with getting people that were working with me or friends or mentoring people's mindset. Go for it. You'll not get yourself in too much trouble that you can't get out, or I can't even come and help you. I know someone that can help you get out of trouble. Go for it. I mean, it is literally, I'm writing. So if you didn't know, I finished my book. The book is going to be out next year. We're rewriting the preamble. I'll just tell you, it's the same ghostwriter that wrote a book that you guys know, blah blah blah, and I'm not going to say whose. It's not Stoner's, but it's no. I don't know if I don't think he cares. But anyway, Bebo's book, the same guy that helped him write his book. It's a great process. We write the book. The guy just puts it to paper and organizes our thoughts. So our ghosts have the same ghostwriter as Darren did. And I've just hired my illustrator. She's going to start illustrating the book in January. And it's an entrepreneur's tale. It's go get yourself in trouble, or you got yourself in trouble. You started a business. And it's me starting off as my little entrepreneur self, is shoveling snow when I was 7 years old to the present day. And I think it's a fun book. I end up every chapter with a little toolbox that gives you your takeaways from the chapter of what the hell you shouldn't have done that I did, and this is what you should do at this level of as I was growing my business in my life. And it's an interesting book. It was fun. I've listened to my own book because I have a little app that'll read to me. I've listened to my own book 3 times now because I have to listen to it for errors and different things I want to change the way the wording is. But it's fun. It was really fun. It was a shit ton of money to write a book, but I guess I could have wrote it myself, but I'm so dyslexic I can't write a book. But yeah, that'll be out next year. Next summer is what I'm shooting for, hopefully earlier. But yeah, that's what's going on in my world, and I've had a blast doing it. And the business side of right now, to end it, is I said about 10 minutes ago, what can you do that can make you more money tomorrow? Take that and contemplate that. What can you do tomorrow? And just do it. I mean, and it should be something that you're not normally doing. What can you do to take, in your mind, a risk, in my mind it's not, feel free to message me. You're all watching me on Facebook. You might be watching on YouTube, but I just started that. This is my first YouTube live tonight. I cast it on YouTube instead of my personal channel. Message me. I'll be glad to help you with any messages. I mean, you're not a client, but I'll help you. I mean, mentorship is, I love helping people. I mean, if it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I need to work with you, because you're calling me too much or texting me too much. Hey, we know. I haven't had anybody get to that point. I've had a couple close, but it's time to shit and get off the pot. It's time to get on the payroll and let's start growing your business. But if you want some help, questions, I mean, I probably get 5 to 10 texts or messages a day from people that I don't work with, just asking me questions. And here's the funny thing, I've had 3 new Texas businesses call me in the last week asking me stuff. And I love that. I mean, I love that. And so I want nothing more to help out everyone around me. If you haven't fucked me over before, meaning you used to work for me and you quit, you lied, cheated, and stole from me, I'm not helping you. Other than you, and you're not watching, I know, but other than you, I want to help you grow your business. I want nothing more than in Texas to everybody taking the chimney business that you can do here in this great state and of Oklahoma and be the best chimney company you can be, best service company you can be, anybody in service. But I love helping my competitors. So anyone who's not in the chimney business, welcome to the goofy world of chimneys, because we all love, hate each other, mainly love, and we all have a little differences, but we like to help each other. And that is a rare thing, I think, in most industries. We do like to help people. And I do this show for only one reason, to help you. And so with that, guys, I'm going to end it tonight, but feel free, message me. If you have a question, I don't care how dumb, silly you might think it is or big, just go ahead, do it out. And so, thanks, Jack. Check out his podcast. Very valuable. Reach out to Chad. He'll help you, Jack. Like I said, I wake up 2-3 times a week with a little thing from Jack in Australia. It's kind of cool to know that, I got a fan and I'm mentoring a guy across the pond. So anyway, thanks, Bob. So guys, with that, I'm going to end it. I'm going to go plop my ass in a chair. I'm going to veg out because it has been a long day. And by the way, thank you very much. And I guess our fight for the night, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, is over. So until then, I'll see you. Actually, guys, I'm not going to see you next week. Next week, and if I can, maybe we will. I'm going to visit Faisy in California next week. I'm flying out Tuesday, coming back Friday. So I will talk to him to see if we can do chat with Chad. I don't know. We're going up in the mountains, so I may not have signal. So we'll see. But if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks for sure. Maybe next week. So, but you can still chit chat with me in between now and anytime and forever. I would love to help you. Good night, guys.